Welcome to the Word, which is a converting software for the Word Bible software. And in here today, we're going to look at continuing on in this series we've been doing in converting a Bible. Today, specifically, we continue on we've already loaded Matthew through Revelation, and you'll notice that you got your verses, your verses, and then the chapters when it's needed, and also the book when it's needed. You go into your Bible build area now. Remember to keep the verses each on a single line. Go to your Bible build. You input the information about the Bible. I have a random ID in here, the name, abbreviation, the description, the original author of the text, some keywords for this example. This is textual critical. The one that created the module, if you had any contributors, the source, publisher, a published date. Down here, put the version of the word that you're going to require for them to use. For example, in this one, I could probably just do version 5, but we're just doing it this way for today. The official section is not something you should need to get into. This is for those that are working in an official capacity with us at the Word Bible software. We have some verse rules, and this ties into getting us some Strongs. In this case, there could be 3 variations of Strongs and some references, etc. And lastly, there's a toggle for headings. You can see kind of a quick summary of what will be put in the text over here. In our about file, I've loaded it from here. I already made it. You just load it in here. And I got this data from the website earlier that I had showed you. If you go into this website, and I went into their mobile HTML version, and I was able to get into some of that information. You can even see it here. There's an appendix and there's an introduction. I went through and and I'm just going to jump over here to the book editor. I use tools, for example, here it is. I'll load it in here and just go open a normal one. I used Microsoft Word just to bring the text over a little easier for myself. Then I went through using some standard formatting tools, setting a 10-point font, adjusting the tables to the right width, paragraph to 0.6. So I'm going to do that one just real quick there also. And then also in here under standard formatting, let's let it get updated. I also did the Greek and Hebrew under standard formatting, as well as tables setting to 100% width and setting them to have gray in the line, gray edges. There are some other things. You see the blue text without lines underneath. That's also in standard formatting. It's good to have the fonts all be the same throughout our books. So we use Segio UI or Tahoma, and we use a 10-point font to get that correctly done. And one of the things that we're going to also be looking at today as this continues on is what's called a map file. In this particular book that we have today, this Bible, it's nothing needed since book, chapter, and verse were already right. But if they weren't, for example, if they were out of alignment, I'll show you what another one would look like here. I have the Web Bible, World English Bible. And that has a map file where there was not too many changes were needed on that one. Bringing 24 and 45, book 45, chapter 14, 24, 25, and 26, all into verse 23. That was just a formatting change that needed, I believe, in the book of Romans. We needed to remap it into King James versification because verses 24, 25, and 26 don't exist in that chapter in King James. Let's see if our work got done here. Okay, good. That's all done. You can see some of the things that happen down here. The gray lines makes it nice and even. You can turn the gray lines off if you want using standard formatting here, tables and cells, no gray lines, etc. We also have that Greek, like I mentioned. We did some verse detection to bring all those up. And kind of just brought it into, and you can see the Greek here. It brought it into a very nice, even format, standardized format here. Let's just double check, save this one. Let's go back into the Bible editor mode. We'll jump over to Bible Build. We got our About, and then we go over here to Build. And I'm going to go ahead and you'll see me load the map. If you need to make modifications in here, you can. Like if you want to do like 45.2.1, you can, but that's not as needed in this area. You can do it also in the regular editor. We do need a map file loaded because we need it to convert with the map file. I would like to show you what happens when we don't have the map file loaded. I'm going to go New Testament here. I'll open it. And you'll notice that it's 4 lines off in count here. You can see them going on the bottom. It says your Bible lines are 7,953, and it needs to be 7,957. There are some blank lines that need to be kept in there, and they're not being put in there. So the way we do that is, let's turn this back on, and I'm going to show you what it looks like inside the Word. You'll get to see here a taste of what it. Well, this is with it, right? Let's turn that back off, and let's go in here. Because remember, that map setting goes through and it uses the numbers and with the periods between them to line everything up. When they're not lined up, you get something that looks like this, and you can quickly see that the verses are off. In fact, if you go to the end of the New Testament, they're 4 off. Around in the book of Luke, I believe, is the first change that is needed. It's just building the index here, and it'll be up very quickly. Okay, so let's bring it up, TCNT, and we'll leave these numbers on here. So we're on 11. But if you go down in here, you see verse 36 of Luke chapter 17 needs to be a blank, or it needs to have small dashes in it. And so it's actually helpful for just a second to have these numbers. Okay, let's go back out and rebuild. Leaving the map on now. And I like to use that little time format at the top. It keeps my updates separate. And this right here, I'll show you what I was just talking about. Okay, it's remapping using that map file now. Okay, done. See this timestamp in file name. It helps. Just don't have too long a file name or it'll give you a little bit of fits there. Okay, now let's open up the Word. Nope, not quite. We got to move it over. It's just initializing for a second, then I got to turn the Word back on. While you're kind of probably is coming at you pretty hard and fast, but this gets you some going and rolling, and that's the main thing. You'll kind of learn as you go. Okay, that's not the correct one. Let's get that correct one up here. Okay, now let's bring the correct one up. This Bible is interesting. It has some Strongs built in. There are a few things that would need fixed in this particular one. It has some headings that are a little bit off. I believe there is maybe a CM mark or something like that that's off. One of the things that's also a helpful tool in the Word, and I'll show you here. So got this one right here. Okay, so now we need to do a little bit. Let's go to the top of the line here. And if you put, let's go into compare view. And in here in compare view, let's leave an ASB on. We'll turn on the new one we just did. Right here. And also, there's another file that's included into the Word. Well, ONT file. Here we go. OTNT lines. So we bring that up, and you can see that tells you actually the line number. So we have our Bible version over here. Let's turn this one. And so over here, we have a Bible version, the one we've been working on. the TCENT, it's line, and some different things. So we have NASB over here. And you can see, looks good, going well, but notice here at the top, let's turn on headings. Okay, that one looks good. Let's go to the front of Luke. If you turn off headings, you'll see that it's got a line in it, an empty line. So now we know that's on 24,895. At this point, what's pretty good is to use something like a notepad editor is very good with line numbers built in. And we can just let this reload. Okay, and I want to go specifically into, let's turn off TotheWord. 24895. Go in here, 24895. We'll jump to that line. Sorry, that is not, it's not, well, we're not looking for the Old Testament line. Something's not quite right. Well, let me look at my OT file. Normally, it gives you an Old Testament number and a New Testament number for the file number. Let me look at it. I know what happened. Look in here. Let's turn it back on. There we go. Aha, very nice. Okay, so actually the line that we need to be in, as you can tell, there's a learning curve always. Let's go to the top here. Set 1,750. Okay, go in here. 1,750. And at the top of this, there, if you go to the very end, we have seems to be happening. Oh, there's the CM. That should be correct. That CM should not be there because it's at the start of a chapter. So I'm going to save it. And if you look again here in TotheWord, there's a Bible editor and there's a word tips. Control-Shift-R forces a Bible to reload inside the words, which is a very helpful thing. So let's see if we got a fix. Control-Shift. And let's see, it's probably not recognizing what Bible I'm on. Oops. Oh, there we go. Reload now because I was in compare view. Okay, go back to the compare. Now notice it fixed that. So basically there shouldn't be a CM be after a chapter heading at the very start of a chapter. It should be throughout. And these are things you'll work on and learn, and you can ask some questions in the TotheWord forum area. And that kind of that way perhaps we'll get this going faster and faster and get more people involved. Well, now you can see if you get the data for the TCNT, and I'm going to try to include that link or that information in the description. You can kind of go ahead and work on trying out building this Bible yourself. Also, the data is also in TotheWord. You'll see some examples there, like the map file. I'll put that in there and a few things like that. Thank you, and pray you have a good day. God bless.